What's going on, toxic gamers and Call of Duty refugees? Cannot forget my refugees, okay? The Call of Duty refugees out there. Today we're gonna be catching up on some Call of Duty hate videos, okay? Yeah, and we're not talking about blame truth, okay? Why did it sound like I said no Diddy? I mean, pause. No, we're not talking about the homie Blame Truth, okay? We're gonna catch up with him later on. But today we're talking about the homie, the legendary, when the community needed him most, he returned type of guy, the homie Prime Pete, okay? And he's going off. Like the video if you love your mama, like the video if you're doing good today, and let's see what's the issue at hand is. Roll it.
Again, Call of Duty is not the beloved game it once was. What was once everyone's favorite first-person arcade shooter is now a shell of its former self. It's a corporately owned, manipulative, monetized, and rigged video game that has the same logic as slot machines or claw machines do. The game is designed to drip-feed you dopamine and keep you addicted by any means possible in order for you to buy as many microtransactions as possible. So I'm not going to waste your time. TLDR, Call of Duty is rigged. And I'm going to rapid-fire all of the evidence you need to know that the game is entirely fake and manipulative, and Black Ops 6 is the worst iteration of this system yet. I've got 5 major points as to why this game is rigged and the proof behind it. Here we go. Number 1, the patents. So we have patents made by Activision that detail the manipulation of in-game parameters in order to boost players of certain skill levels. There are also more than one of these, which would suggest that Activision is interested in continuing this technology because that's how patenting works.
In other words, I said it before and I will always say, if Activision is not scamming you, that's a scam. That's a bar right there. Write it down if you have to. Because if they don't scam you, that's a scam. Because they need to scam you. Because they always scam. They're known for that. You know?
As far as these systems go, it appears that they're able to manipulate your hitbox, your health, your damage, nerf you mid-match if you're doing too well, and in addition to that, there's a patent that boosts you and gives you easier matches if you purchase skins. For example, if you were to buy a sniper, you might get matched against somebody who's not that good at sniping but is getting into sniping, so you can advertise that sniper skin. Long story short, your entire game experience is manipulated.
That's EOMM, and they always do that, right? This is something that was found a while ago, and he's right on the money here, and they got patents for it, as well. Now, surely patents doesn't mean that it's gonna be implemented, right? Like, there are so many patents that never got implemented, but there's a thought behind it, right? And in the case of Activision, we're way past the idea of just a patent. This has been studied. Our NASA astronauts, our scientists, our Call of Duty Call of Duty gurus have already, like the homie exclusivist, right? The homie Drifter, although he's not in office, he's no longer in office by the looks of it, but back when Drifter was in office, I'm just saying Call of Duty as a YouTuber, okay? But back when he was in office, he has done studies. He had conducted studies. The homie J God as well, he conducted studies, and various YouTubers, scientists, and people from all walk of life came together, conducted NASA level ranking, NASA likes test, and they conducted that. Yup, there is something by the name of EOMM, which makes it so once you buy a skin, it will give you that high, right? Like all of a sudden, you would be firing endorphins, your dopamine receptors would light up like a Christmas tree, right? And you will feel good about yourself. You will feel good about getting kills, and all of a sudden you're gonna be like feeling on top of the world. You will feel like you know, no longer this and that. You will go up like that, okay? You will feel that high, but after a certain amount of time, you're gonna be back to level 1. Essentially, the algorithm will be like, hey, game's up, man. Time to spend another 20, another 30, and buy another skin. This is why homies felt a way in a different way. They felt it different when they bought the when they bought the UAV Online bundle back in Modern Warfare 2022. All of a sudden they felt buff, they felt strong, but after a certain amount of time the effects wear off, guys. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy, no pause, no Diddy, no Diddy. Let's get back to it.
Manipulated by either spending money or doing too well, and they'll just nerf you in the match. And the way a patent process works is that you have to invest lots of money and lots of time into developing a patent. So for a patent to just be sitting there and not in use, as a lot of people argue, is just completely far-fetched. If Activision made this patent, there's a pretty good chance they're using it. With skill-based damage also trending, it makes perfect sense that this game has the worst iteration of it yet. After all, the skill ceiling is the highest in Black Ops 6, given the Omni movement and the general fast pace of the game. So it would make perfect sense why the skill-based damage is so bad this year. But you are getting nerfed mid-match, and these patents show evidence. Second point, EOMM.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I touched on EOMM already, but that's wild, right? Skill-based matchmaking is one thing. EOMM is another. But then they also got skill-based damage where they can actively nerf you mid-match. So, you know, the gurus that we got, JGod, the exclusive is nothing but love for them, and this is not like a criticism towards them. They're just doing their job, and this used to be a big thing back in the days. It still is, but what I'm trying to get at here is that yeah, all the data, guys, right? The data, as the homie Blame Truth would say, but the data is not even accurate anymore, right? Because if you say one thing, if let's just say JGod finds out, if he's not saying it is, he's just finding out and he's reporting the news covering the data. But if he finds out that one bullet of the gun AK in the game will deliver 40 damage if you fight it like, if you shoot it like upper chest, he's not wrong. He's finding that data from the game and telling you about it, telling us about it. But then you have the skill-based skill-based damage that will actively nerf you depending on whatever it sees in the game, depending on how well or how bad you're playing. It's gonna fluctuate your data. So then all of a sudden, sometimes you're gonna be doing 80 damage. Other times you're supposed to do 40 consistently, but you might do 30, 10, maybe even 5, right? And all of a sudden your enemy feels like a bullet sponge. So it really is all over the place. So all of a sudden the data in this aspect don't matter.
You thought SBMM was the thing, skill-based matchmaking? Yeah, you thought wrong, pal. It's actually EOMM, engagement optimized matchmaking. This is essentially just rigged matches that are meant to either be wins or losses. Originally, this was based on research from a group of students from UCLA that showed that having rigged matches and a certain string of results actually...
Yo, I was joking around when I said that. No, I was not joking. I was exaggerating when like NASA level studies, right? Like gurus, Call of Duty gurus, which is true though. You know, YouTubers like Exclusive Ace, Drifters, the JGod, and you know, people have done studies. But I was like just adding a little bit of that sauce. No diddy. I was adding that sauce on it to, you know, get the point across that it was really happening. But now that you see this, now I'm seeing this for the first time. It really happened. These suckers crazy. So we got actual university students that conducted the study. God damn. Method P100, 200, 300. Okay, table 2. Average number of retained players per round of matchmaking simulation. 10,000 rounds of matchmaking were simulated. Damn. So you got worst MM, skill MM, random MM, EOMM, 51, 51, 50, 90. Yeah, a lot of like that. A lot of the data numbers right there. The data
actually keeps players retained longer than just basic skill-based matchmaking or connection-based matchmaking. And aside from being rigged, the problem with EOMM is that it sacrifices your ping because your pool of players that you can play with is so unbelievably small. That's why the match times are so long, and that's why you're searching for matches above 40, 50, 60 ping if you're in the United States, and maybe even longer if you live outside of the country. The game is searching for a group of players that are stacked either with or against you to give you a win or a loss. And then if that's not happening, the game will just nerf you mid-match. In-game parameter manipulation and EOMM, in combination with each other, create an algorithmically rigged system that forces you to either win or lose, and you have barely any control over it. Ultimately, EOMM shows that inconsistency breeds addiction. And if you don't believe me, let's jump to point number 3. Their blog post dodging the accusations about everything I just said. Activision should be on Dancing with the Stars because you have never seen better moves than this.
I'll say this. For the longest amount of time, they were denying skill-based matchmaking and they never wanted to talk about it. And just a couple of months ago, they openly talked about it. But still, they didn't give us everything about it. The reason they talked about it was because of the pressure, your pressure, because you were constantly talking about it. You were, and they were seeing people are being annoyed, like all of us are annoyed by that, right? Because, and listen, man, I'm the last person that would say remove skill-based matchmaking completely. Bruh. Hear me out. I do believe skill-based matchmaking deserve to be in a spot, and I would say, therefore, have skill-based matchmaking in the game, but in rank play. Because that's where it deserves to be, right? Like when you want to feel like you want to be challenged, right? You go and play rank play. Right now, though, I gotta agree that rank play is filled with cheaters. But I mean, even the normal game is filled with cheaters. So it's like one of those things, right? But yeah, rank play, you get skill-based matchmaking, you get EOMM, you get skill-based damage. All skill-based damage, that's different, though. I disagree with skill-based damage even in rank play when you got skill-based matchmaking, right? And I would also disagree with EOMM because EOMM job is that once it sees that you're wearing the helmet, it's gonna treat you different. But and once it sees that you have bought the friendly UAV online bundle and that your BBC is online right now, it's gonna view you different. Why? I don't want you to treat me different. I just want you to love me for who I am, right? Not for who I'm not, right? That's a bar right there. No diddy though, no diddy. But like, yeah, I wanted to skill-based matchmaking in rank play, good. EOMM, skill-based damage, bad in every level, on every level, in every lobby. Currently, I'm enjoying the game, and I talked about it a million times for the reasons, and I'm not gonna go over on that. I've been enjoying the game, but of course, it got problem. I mean, this is one of those things that people have been screaming about for a while, and there's a reason for it, because, yeah, skill-based matchmaking, one thing, EOMM, completely separate, and then you got skill-based damage. I mean, what the hell, right? If you're with skill-based matchmaking, hey, that's your opinion, that's your opinion. Skill-based damage though, come on now, like what we talking? This is like, it gets down to the rigged base matchmaking, and it quite literally what it is. People talked about it for a while, but literally that's what it means.
Question number 1. Does the Call of Duty matchmaking process impact any in-game elements such as hit registration, player visibility, aim assist, damage, etc.? No, our matchmaking process does not impact gameplay elements. Okay, so in what world does the matchmaking process impact any in-game elements whatsoever? Last time I checked, matchmaking just makes the matches. So to pretend that that's somehow an answer to that question is ludicrous. It's absurd. They're completely dodging the question by using legal speak and lawyers present in order to make sure that they're dodging every accusation without actually answering the question. So that's question number 1 dance around. Question 2. Does spending money on Call of Duty content such as bundles, battle pass, or black sale change how players are matched? Money spent is not in any way, shape, or form factor into matchmaking. Did you catch it? That means money spent, not cosmetics.
Wrong.
Tap. Yeah, it was a very carefully planned to document. Those of you that do not know, maybe you're new to it. Yes, for years, people, players, gamers, toxic gamers, whatever you want to call them, all of us combined, right? We were asking skill-based matchmaking, talk about it. We need to know. Remove it. This and that. But talk about it. They did, but they carefully made sure that they would put it in a way where they don't get sued, essentially. So they're protecting themselves. I get that, but skill-based matchmaking, one thing, EOMM another, and then you got skill-based damage on it. It's like, bro, what are we talking?
Owned, not cosmetics worn. For example, if little Timmy spends $50 and little Johnny spends $100, they're not going to be matched any differently. However, if they're wearing those skins, if they just bought those skins, then that will affect their matchmaking, as per this patent that matches players based on...
Yeah, like I said, guys, no diddy. If you buy the BBC Online bundle, and if your BBC is online right now, they're gonna treat you different though. No diddy. And this algorithm is so strong. You play 5 matches, these suckers know the size of your dong, your family tree, whether you're capable or incompatible, right? They know everything about it. They know the last time when you went on the Bumble app. No diddy. Once again, pause. Let's continue.
Cosmetics in order to bring more microtransaction sales. So long story short, this is question number 2 dodged because they can't be bothered to address the actual usage of cosmetics, and rather they just talk about the amount of money because that doesn't matter at all. And question number 3. Does Call of Duty consider player engagement, time played, as a factor in matchmaking? We do not consider how often or how much you play when determining matchmaking. Okay, seriously? So we redefine engagement as time played, even though it's more like player interest, player satisfaction, and then we say that it doesn't consider how much you play. The engagement in engagement optimized matchmaking does not talk about time played. It talks about player satisfaction and player investment. So in order to answer if the algorithm is actually engagement based, they first have to redefine engagement to mean something that we don't actually mean, and then answer the question that way. So it's 3 questions not answered, 3 questions danced around, and 3 questions dodged about the biggest accusations against them. They can't even give us a straight answer, so I'm leaning towards we are right.
Because you wanna know why? They ain't straight. Yeah. No diddy.
And they're lying. Notice in all these 3 questions, they use a Trojan horse or a scapegoat instead of actually answering the question. For example, skill-based damage, they use the matchmaking as a scapegoat because they can say the matchmaking doesn't do it, even though it doesn't do it anyways. In the microtransaction question, they use spending money instead of wearing skins as a scapegoat for answering that question, because the amount of money spent doesn't affect your matchmaking, rather it's the skins you're wearing. And the third scapegoat is redefining engagement as time played, because they know that time played isn't a factor in matchmaking, and that's not the kind of engagement we're actually talking about here. So if you don't believe my first 2 points, this third point should solidify that, because they're dodging literally every single allegation, and you can't make that up. Point number 4, keep everyone at a 1KD and trick you into thinking you're better than that. So let's first talk about the recon.
Yeah, like I said in my previous videos, I'm enjoying my time, but that is because like I'm listening to YouTube videos and catching up on YouTube videos, listening to podcasts in the background. I play the game without any game audio, and I have fun though. I have fun. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I said it from the get-go, and it's true for me that I'm enjoying the game that way, and I feel like that's the only way I can enjoy. If I play with the sound on, then it's gonna be like, I'm gonna try hard, and then, you know, when you try really hard, it's like it don't work the way you want it to work. Basically, I just want to chill. chill. I want to enjoy my time, and that's it. And yeah, I got no issues with the game. The only criticism I have is that maps are boring, the maps are bad, which is something everybody's talking about. Then you got skill-based damage, and it's like, yeah, come on now, what are we doing? Can a brother not have that? Can a brother this? Can a brother not? Can a brother do? Can a brother not? You know, it's it's one of those things, man.
Recon perks, so you can see where everyone is after you spawn. And for some reason, all of the strongest perks are also part of that package. You got Ninja, Forward, Intel, Tracker, Ghost, Engineer, Vigilance, and Cold-Blooded all in the blue category. So that means if you run 3 of those perks, you're going to get a free recon. So why are we placing all the strongest perks in the blue sec? Now that could be a matter of opinion, but it just looks like if you have Ninja, Ghost, Cold-Blooded, and Vigilance in the same perk category, I bet they want you to use Recon. And Recon just lets people die right after they get a kill, and gives you no map advantage because the game's terrible. Next are the spawns, and the spawns are terrible. They're completely random, and they're not designed to be read by the players. They're not designed to be understood by the players. They completely mess up the flow of a match, and they make it so you can't read the match flow properly. This stifles better players because it gives them a lower KD because they have more difficulty reading the match.
Oh,
the maps are...
Oh, okay, on that KD part, yeah, this is what I wanted to say when I paused there. Just lost that train of thought when I was talking. Yeah, on that KD one, right? Even though I'm enjoying the game, though, the KD part is so true. Most of the time, I'm getting like 1 KD, 1 kill, 1 death, 1 kill, 1 death. And I'm still enjoying it in a way because I'm listening to podcasts otherwise. Because the game is so good. And I would say I'm not the best player out there. And it feels like that to me this time around. The skill-based matchmaking is light, which is how it feels like. That's how I'm feeling, so I'm telling you how it feels. But there is, of course, skill-based damage, skill-based matchmaking, EOMM, and all that jazz in it. But yeah, most of the part, I can only just get a UAV online. And I'm not talking about this UAV online. I'm talking about the game, the one that you call it, you know, the spy plane in the air, the one that circles around, view, and tells you where everybody's at. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that UAV skin, guys. Come on now, get it together.
Are also awfully designed and clearly not 3-lane. These maps are designed for a 1 KD experience because they're so cramped and close together, and they're so disorganized and have too many lines of sight that it's almost impossible to go on a kill streak. Add the recon perk in there, and you start to...
But here's the thing, though. You guys might disagree with this one, or maybe not, but I prefer smaller maps like this, right? Even though I'm getting 1 KD, the maps actually are bad. They are terrible in the game, but I like that they are small at the very least, and they're not big. Because what happens when you have worse maps plus they're big, like Modern Warfare 2022, Modern Warfare 19, you have doors, ultimately more campers, the gameplay becomes very slow, you die over and over, and it's like you spawn all the way on the other side, then you're running halfway through, and then you die once again. So it's one of those things. At least in this game, I will say, even despite all the bull squash, you die, you spawn faster, right? Call of Duty is like the McDonald's. It's always gonna be like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you want a McDonald's, but I'm not talking literally though. Yeah, stay away from in real life McDonald's. It's actually bad for your health. It's bad for you, okay? Stay away from that as much as possible. Sometimes I get it. You want to have fun. You want to get the fries. I get that. Sometimes, all right, but not all the time though. There's a difference, folks. There's a difference. But this is like the digital McDonald's. I like the fact that the maps are small, so there's less pain involved in that way, because skill-based matchmaking is just gonna F up everything. Most importantly, skill-based damage.
See where I'm going with this. And then, to trick everyone into thinking they're actually better than they are, they make assists count towards eliminations. So at the end of the game, if you have 40 kills and 20 deaths, but actually 20 of those kills were just assists, you're gonna think you're a 2 KD player, even though you're just a 1 KD player. So keep that in mind. They're literally lying to you with the stats in the game. So what they do is they design the maps bad on purpose, make the spawns completely unpredictable so the game's unreadable, and then add the little recon perk in there to make it even easier to get a kill once you spawn, and they lie to you about your KD so that they can trick people into having a 1 KD, but make them think that they don't have a 1 KD. And the last reason that this game is rigged is the suspicious usage of AI. We've proven AI-generated prestige icons. Recently, we've discovered AI-generated skins that they say, hey, AI, make this, and then we're going to sell it for 20 bucks. We've also got AI NPC profiling, which is another patent that basically reads how you play and then uses that to simulate a version of you that's a robot. We've got an AI chatbot that monitors all in-game chat.
Flashback, like I was talking about, the AI is so strong in this game, it knows whether you hopped on Bumble or not last night, you know? It is that strong, guys. It is that strong. No Diddy.
And then bans you based on what it deems to be offensive or not. And last but not least, we've got AI-generated maps, which Blame Truth basically proved in his last video. I'll link it in the description. And Track put a heavy emphasis on hiring people that...
Shout out to the homie Blame Truth! Shout out to the homie Blame Truth, man.
understand how to work with generative AI. I wonder why. This game wasn't even made entirely by human beings. That's nuts. So just to summarize, the game rigs your damage, hitbox, health, spawns, nerfs you mid-match, boosts you when you buy skins, and then when confronted with these accusations, Activision squirmed and tried to dodge the question by using clever and manipulative language that didn't actually deny anything because they couldn't legally deny it. This includes the fact that matchmaking is engagement optimized and not skill-based, which tosses you predetermined matches in order to keep you addicted, and uses the manipulation of in-game parameters in order to give you the performance that the algorithm deems necessary. You only experience a tiny percentage of the player base because they want everyone at a 1 KD. If that happens, then nobody is killing or dying at a higher rate than somebody else. The maps are designed poorly on purpose, and the spawns are baked into the game engine, rendering them virtually unchangeable and designed to toss you certain results. Along with their blatant usage of AI to design in-game assets, it also appears that they profile you based on your playstyle and can emulate you as an AI character, which leads some conspiracy buffs to question whether or not you're actually playing against human beings, or if it's just an AI with their username that plays just like that person. Call of Duty is the slot machine of video games. It makes perfect sense and it's right in front of our faces. It's the game that gets the most flack for its predatory, inconsistent, and manipulative matchmaking, and it's the only game with skill-based damage accusations regularly tossed around. And it's the only game where huge creators that originally only abided by hard data and denied any of what's obviously right in front of our faces are finally starting to notice that something really weird is going on in regards to mid-match nerfing. Black Ops 6.
Yeah, Drifter, right? Like I was saying back when he was in office. Oh shit! Oh shit! Yep, he did conducted studies, but now I don't think he does YouTube no more. I mean, he does, but not actively as he once did.
This is the culmination of all of these atrociously dishonest and immoral practices, and it's all for the sake of money. If Activision came out and denied anything I just said, straight up, without using any weird wording and directly saying I'm wrong, I would back down and admit I was wrong. But guess what? They've already tried to, and they failed miserably because they were trying to do damage control with lazy wording and obvious legal speak that had cleared up zero suspicions that anyone with a functioning cranium actually had. The evidence overwhelmingly points to this video being correct, and there's almost no evidence to support that everything I just mentioned.
In other words, he's trying to say what he's saying is not wrong. Yeah, in other words, he right though. Guys, this also just happened. Check out this video on the screen. Insane clips that are going around. I'm not sure if you guys saw this or not. Once you see it, man, it's gonna open up your third eye. Huge drama. Do not miss this one. Check it out and I'll see you right there. You're gonna enjoy it, but you're also gonna see what happened too.